Picture a city rising from the sea, its buildings standing on stilts, almost as if they are floating on the water itself. Imagine the ingenuity and determination it took to create such a place. Its streets are like canals with boats called gondolas gliding through them, serving as the primary mode of transportation. These gondolas are not just boats, they are a symbol of Venetian culture and history. This is Venice, a city unlike any other in the world. Its unique architecture and waterways make it a marvel of human ingenuity and resilience. Venice wasn't built by conquerors or because someone wanted more land. It wasn't a city born out of ambition or conquest. It was built by people looking for a safe place to live, a refuge from the chaos and violence that plagued their homelands. Way back in the 5th century AD, barbarian invaders swept across Europe, causing widespread destruction and fear. People living in the Roman region of Venetia needed to find safety, and fast. They were desperate for a place where they could be free from the constant threat of invasion. They found it in a surprising place, a lagoon in the Adriatic Sea. This lagoon, with its shallow waters and numerous islands, offered a natural barrier against invaders. These early Venetians were running from the Huns and other invaders. They weren't sailors by trade or tradition. They were farmers, merchants, and craftspeople. They had skills that were suited to land, not water. They had to learn a whole new way of life, quickly. Adapting to the lagoon meant mastering new skills and overcoming numerous challenges. The lagoon with its muddy islands and changing tides was a tough place to live. The environment was harsh and unforgiving, but it also kept them safe from invaders, and it gave them access to the sea, which was super important for trade and communication. The sea became their lifeline, connecting them to the rest of the world. The many islands of the lagoon made it hard for invaders to attack. Each island acted as a natural fortress, providing a layer of defense. What started as small, scattered settlements slowly grew into a larger community. Over time, these settlements merged, creating a unified city. Life in the lagoon was hard, but the Venetians were tough. They were resilient and resourceful, always finding ways to adapt and thrive. They never gave up, and that's how they built a powerful city based on the sea. Venice became a hub of commerce, culture, and innovation. They learned to live with the water all around them, and they even learned how to make money from it. The sea, once a barrier, became their greatest asset, shaping the destiny of Venice for centuries to come. The Venetians quickly figured out how special their location was. Nestled in the lagoon, they had natural protection from invaders, and a unique position that allowed them to control the waterways. They were right in the middle of trade routes between the east and the west. This strategic location meant they could facilitate and benefit from the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. They became expert sailors in the Adriatic Sea, and even farther away. Their skills in navigation and shipbuilding allowed them to explore and establish connections with distant lands. Fishing, making salt, and trading became how they made their money. These industries were the backbone of their economy, providing the resources needed to sustain their growing population. Venetian merchants sailed all over the place, setting up trading posts and making friends with people in faraway lands. These relationships were crucial for securing trade agreements and ensuring the flow of goods. Salt was super important back then, before refrigerators, and it was how Venice got rich. The ability to preserve food with salt made it a highly valuable commodity. They came up with clever ways to get salt from the lagoon and then sold it all around the Mediterranean Sea. This ingenuity in salt production and trade was a key factor in their economic success. Selling salt gave them the money to build even bigger and better ships, which made their navy even stronger. A powerful navy was essential for protecting their trade routes and expanding their influence. As Venetian ships sailed the seas, they brought back more than just stuff to sell. They returned with exotic goods, spices, and textiles that were highly sought after in Europe. They brought back new ideas and knowledge. This exchange of information helped Venice become a center of learning and innovation. The Venetians became famous for building amazing ships, faster, easier to steer, and able to carry more cargo than anyone else's. Their advancements in shipbuilding technology set them apart from other maritime powers. This made them very powerful and helped them protect their trade routes all over the Mediterranean. Their dominance in maritime trade ensured their prosperity and influence for centuries. Venice's government was as unusual as its location. While most of Europe was ruled by kings or lords, Venice had a system that shared power among its leading families. The leader was called the Doge, and he was elected for life by a complicated system of councils and committees. The Doge wasn't all-powerful though. He had to answer to the Great Council, a group made up of men from important Venetian families. This council made the laws and decided what Venice would do. The Doge was more like a president or prime minister, leading the government and representing Venice to other countries. This complicated system was designed to stop any one person or family from becoming too powerful. It helped keep things stable and encouraged everyone to work together. It wasn't perfect, but the Venetian Republic lasted for a very long time and became a model for other governments. To protect its trade routes and growing power, Venice built a strong navy. This navy was not just a collection of ships, it was a symbol of Venice's ambition and strategic foresight. The Venetian Republic understood that control over the seas meant control over trade, wealth, and influence. Venetian ships, called galleys and powered by oarsmen, were a powerful force in the Mediterranean. These galleys were designed for speed and maneuverability, allowing them to outpace and outmaneuver larger, more cumbersome ships. The oarsmen, often slaves or convicts, were crucial to the galley's performance, rowing tirelessly to ensure Venice's dominance at sea. Venetian sailors were known for their skill at sea and in battle. They were trained rigorously, mastering navigation, combat, and survival skills. Their expertise made them formidable opponents, capable of defending their ships and attacking enemy vessels with precision and bravery. They defended the city from pirates, other navies, and even sometimes from crusaders. The Mediterranean was a dangerous place, filled with threats from all sides, but the Venetian navy stood as a bulwark against these dangers, ensuring the safety and prosperity of the Republic. The Venetian arsenal was a huge complex of shipyards, foundries, and armories. This industrial powerhouse was the backbone of Venice's naval strength, capable of producing ships and weapons at an unprecedented scale and speed. It was the heart of Venice's naval power. The arsenal's efficiency and output were unmatched, making it a marvel of engineering and a critical asset in Venice's military strategy. It was an amazing feat of engineering and organization, capable of building warships incredibly fast. The arsenal's assembly line techniques were centuries ahead of their time, allowing Venice to maintain a fleet that could be rapidly expanded or replenished as needed. At its busiest, the arsenal employed thousands of workers and was a symbol of Venice's industrial and maritime power. These workers, from skilled craftsmen to laborers, played a vital role in maintaining Venice's naval supremacy. Venice's military wasn't just its navy. The Republic also invested heavily in its land forces, understanding that control of the seas needed to be complemented by a strong presence on land. They also had a well-trained army, often made up of soldiers hired from all over Europe. These mercenaries brought diverse skills and experiences, making the Venetian army a versatile and effective fighting force. This army defended Venice's land and showed everyone how powerful they were. Their presence deterred potential invaders and ensured that Venice's interests were protected both at home and abroad. Venice's strong military, smart alliances, and clever diplomacy made it much more powerful than its size would suggest. Through strategic marriages, treaties, and alliances, Venice extended its influence far beyond its borders, becoming a major player in European politics and commerce. From the calm waters of the Adriatic to the busy Mediterranean Sea, the journey is incredible. The skilled sailors of long ago navigated these waters, connecting different civilizations. It's a story of amazing skill, where every wave and current was a challenge they overcame with bravery and cleverness. The Mediterranean Sea has always been both good and bad. Its resources and location made it a valuable prize throughout history. But with good things came conflict, as empires fought and cultures clashed. The same waters that brought wealth and opportunity also brought fighting and struggle. The Mediterranean, a birthplace of civilization, has given us some of the most famous art and architecture in the world. Think of the Parthenon in Greece or the Colosseum in Rome. These aren't just buildings, they're symbols of history and culture. Mediterranean art and architecture influenced the whole world, inspiring artists and architects everywhere. The Renaissance, for example, borrowed a lot from the classical traditions of this area, mixing them with new ideas to create amazing art and new ways of thinking. Over time, the Mediterranean's power at sea started to decline. New trade routes opened up, new kinds of ships were invented, and countries' power shifted. Once busy ports became quieter, and the area's economic and cultural influence lessened. But this wasn't the end of the Mediterranean story. It just led to new chapters of change and adaptation. Today, you can still see the Mediterranean's influence in its rich cultures, vibrant traditions, and historic landmarks. But the region faces many challenges, from political problems to environmental concerns. Climate change, especially, is a big threat to the Mediterranean's delicate ecosystems and coastal communities. Solving these problems will take a lot of work from everyone, locally and globally, to make sure the Mediterranean thrives for future generations. When we think about how important the Mediterranean has been to the world, it's clear that we need to protect it. We all have a part to play, whether it's supporting sustainable tourism, protecting the environment, or learning about different cultures. Let's work together to protect this special part of the world so that its legacy can continue to inspire us all.